Welcome to our discussion on the Corporate Transparency Act. I'm Krishana Mitchell, and today we're going to be discussing what the CTA is, what compliance looks like, and more importantly, how it impacts you. I'm joined today by Ms. Jill Krieger, the visionary behind iPaladin, the first and only digital family office platform that's headquartered here in St. Pete. And Jill is also a board member here at Adelphi Trust. Thank you very much for being here and welcome.
Thank you, Krishana. It's a pleasure to be here.
Appreciate it. So first, let's just start with the basics. What is the Corporate Transparency Act and how did it come about?
Right, so the Corporate Transparency Act actually went into effect for reporting purposes on January 1st of this year. But from a legal standpoint, the laws actually became effective on January 1, 2021 as part of the National Defense Authorization Act. But then the roots actually go back even further to 1989 when the G7 created the Financial Action Task Force to combat money laundering and terrorist financing globally. And so today there's 39 countries that participate. So the U.S. is really playing a bit of a catch-up here. So the EU is already on their fifth version of similar laws, and then you've got countries like UK, Canada, and Australia that have long been ahead of us as well. But FinCEN, which is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, they're the regulatory agency in the U.S. that handles Corporate Transparency Act, and this is really how it came about. So if you like, I can shift to what it actually is.
Yes.
So if you have a reporting company, that's a company that's formed or registered to do business in the United States, that's what's referenced now as this reporting company. That includes limited liability companies, partnerships, and corporations. And we're not just talking about commercial operating businesses. So in private wealth, many investors will create these special purpose entities for investments in alternative asset classes. It's also common to create these entities for, as part of asset protection or wealth transfer plans. So, for example, many folks might invest in commercial real estate as part of their investment portfolio. Well, you would do that likely in a limited liability company, but possibly that LLC member interest might be owned by a trust. Mm-hmm. And so there's a broad reach to the whole Corporate Transparency Act in terms of reporting. And so this year, FinCEN actually estimates that there's about 32.5 million companies in the United States that will report. Approximately 10,000 of those are in the Tampa Bay area.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of companies. But there are 23 exemptions. But these are companies like banks, insurance companies, really large operating businesses. And so unless companies fall within these 23 exemptions, they're going to have to file what's called a Beneficial Ownership Information Report, or BOI for short. But that has to be done by December 31st of this year.
So Jill, are there any broader implications of the CTA that business owners should be aware of?
Absolutely. The CTA really changes how this ownership data is being reported to the U.S. government. I mean, previously, banks were collecting this information from business owners directly under FinCEN's Know Your Customer rules. But now businesses are having to report this information directly to FinCEN. Okay, so you're still going to be providing the same or similar information to your banks with your account documents. Here's the big picture. FinCEN now has a verified database. And the IRS, with its $43 billion, budget boost.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
Huge budget boost.
They can actually access this data.
Okay.
So in September of last year, the IRS announced using advanced AI to really pursue $600 billion in new tax revenue. We know AI is great at spotting inconsistencies. So from a big picture standpoint, we just believe it's really crucial for companies to ensure that their data is accurate and consistent, really to avoid a lot of costly discrepancies. many wealthy individuals don't necessarily see this risk. With our company over the last 14 years, we've just seen a lot of fragmented data everywhere.
People not being organized.
Well, it's a systemic problem. This is the critical data, right, that you're going to need if the house burns down to rebuild your life. It's often scattered across emails, attorneys, accountants, cloud portals. I mean, commercial businesses may be organized, but what we find oftentimes is that personal data isn't. And so the government really is getting centralized and organized. So question is, how about you, right? It possibly is time to ask, where's my data? How's it organized? And is it audit ready if I need it for defense?
Well, that brings us to our next point, actually, about centralized data. And that's what your company, iPaladin, helps with. Would you mind telling us a bit about how you came up with the idea, as well as how it helps with CTA compliance?
Absolutely. So as a 30-year trust and estate lawyer, I saw firsthand the chaos of fragmented documentation and compliance. I mean, each year as we worked more deeply with clients, the problem worsened. I mean, where professionals were stuck on isolated desktops, unable to really collaborate effectively on the complex wealth goals across tax, legal, finance, investments. And what I had envisioned was a solution that would centralize and streamline data, governance, and compliance really across that whole client advisory ecosystem, just making everything manageable and secure in one place. So we call this the Digital Family Office, and that's how iPaladin was born. And so 14 years later, we have 2 patents, a third pending, and we serve over 140 offices.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So iPaladin really addresses that systemic problem of unstructured data and a lack of collaboration, which financial systems, CRMs, SharePoint, I mean, they just simply can't fix the problem. And so iPaladin's Digital Family Office, it enables governance of people, processes, and information across that whole family office ecosystem. And it's really shifting everyone's siloed desktop view to the shared workspaces. And when Corporate Transparency Act was introduced, we were ready. I mean, our patented smart record technology, it ensures that every piece of information is organized and classified correctly. So iPaladin already had organized most of that CTA data, but what we added were features around automating the CTA analysis, generating BOI reports, e-filing directly with FinCEN, and we actually have a regulatory alert system to handle those updated reports in the future very seamlessly. But it just makes it easy to meet compliance requirements as well as providing those very thorough audit trails. And so instead of scrambling for documents to prove compliance, everything is securely managed really just in one place without the extra hassle. But a lot of clients hear about what we're doing and they think that iPaladin is only available for that uber wealthy, but that's not really true. I mean, across our platform, these digital family offices are serving clients that with net worth that are really ranging from like 5 million all the way up to 20 plus billion.
Yeah, it's a huge range.
So, but clients can subscribe directly with us, but they can also access a digital family office through their attorney, their accountant, their trusted advisors, like Adelphi Trust. I mean, the Digital Family Office really services that full spectrum of wealth collaboration, just meeting you where you are, anticipating that your wealth is likely to double every 10 years. And along the way, it just keeps you organized, compliant, and audit ready. I mean, that's what we call wealth governance. Another valuable point about the Digital Family Office is that it's portable.
That's huge in this
So,
day and age.
yeah, it really is. And so even if you're setting it up through a company like Adelphi or another advisor, when your needs change, you control the data and you can take it with you. And so in essence, iPaladin has really transformed just how family offices are operating providing a very proactive, streamlined approach to governance and compliance.
Great. So it's clear that your experiences have greatly shaped iPaladin. Would you mind explaining just some final thoughts about why compliance is so important and crucial for family businesses and offices?
Well, compliance with CTA is about ensuring transparency and trust in our financial system. Right? So it's not just about following the rules. We think it's also important in terms of protecting your legacy and just overall ensuring the integrity of your operations. I mean, in today's world, data needs to be accurate, organized, and easily accessible.
For sure.
The government is getting centralized and organized with its information, and we're helping families do the same.
I think that's really smart, especially just because it might make it easier going down the line. Like you said, not just for the law and compliance with the CTA, but just to make your life more organized and have everything in one centralized system. Well, thank you so much, Jill, for your insights today and for coming on to talk to us about the CTA and compliance and your own company. And to all of our subscribers out there and viewers, please make sure that you tune in as we keep up with the law and any regulatory changes that may occur. And we will see you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.